Hi there. Thanks for joining me in Miller's Laboratory. My name is Sue, and I've got a little book done here that I'm going to be putting in my Etsy shop. Just wanted to show you a flip through of it. It's a fall themed journal, and it's a nice little guy you can see in my hands. And the size of it is it's about 5.5 inches high, 3 3/4 inches wide, and then it's about 1.5 inches here on the spine. You can see it is bulging a little bit, but if I squeeze it, it's about 1.5 inches. I'm just going to zoom in there on the top. I love how the top of it looks. There's little bits of fabric sticking out. There's paper ruffle that you can see in there, and it's just totally yummy. I had a lot of fun with this book. I have it tied closed with this strip of vintage linen. I'm going to go ahead and take that off for now. So this is an antique book cover. I don't know the age because there was no year in it. It was, I believe, in German, and the paper inside was very brown and very crumbly. Beautiful. I am going to save it for collage, but it's too delicate to use for pages or anything. The name of the book is Gudrun, which I don't know anything about, but it's some kind of epic book. So you can Google it if you, or maybe you know about it. And I just loved the beautiful, the cover is all embossed here, and then it's got the beautiful gold on there. So I kind of hated to cover it up, but the spine was completely gone. And so I had to recreate a spine, and I covered it with this really pretty fall colored upholstery fabric. You can see here the stitching. There's 5 signatures that I stitched in, and then I added this lace over the top just to embellish it. The lace is not old. I just coffee stained it and made it look old. So, all right, let's take a look inside. And the inside cover here, I left the original paper. I like the color of it. I like how it's sort of degrading a little bit on the edge, and I like things that are old and look old, so I don't like to cover that up. But if you don't like it, you could definitely put a piece of paper over that whole thing. And then here you can also see the fabric that I used to reinforce the inside, and that's just a lightweight, sort of a peach colored. I think it was from an old hanky, not sure, but I've used a lot of digitals in here of marbled paper and also some other things, but every signature is covered by a piece similar to this. There's a lot of vintage and antique book pages in here. I really, when I set out to make this book, I admire so much the journals that are just very neutral, and I tried to do that here. But I always wind up adding some color. There's a pretty pop-up of a pheasant. Pheasants remind me of fall. The coloring of them, I think they're so beautiful. So anyway, I wind up putting color in all my books. I just can't help it. And I mean, what's beautiful about fall but all the beautiful colors? So this is an old, or it's not old. This is it's actually a brown bag that you would find in a restroom for disposing of diapers or sanitary napkins. And I love the crinkliness of it. It's really cool. And so these are, of course, new, but I just like the color of them and everything. So that page that you see underneath the pop-up is made from that. And inside here where the gusset is, I've just made a tiny little pocket and tucked in a little print here of some mushrooms. It just makes a little spot to do some journaling. And then there's a pocket here. And in this I've printed, this is a print of some wallpaper. This is a William Morris wallpaper, digital. And then again, just opens up to, this is also a digital print of some tea-stained paper. So a journaling spot there for you. All of the tags and the journaling cards or journaling little spots that I made, I left them pretty plain in this book because there's so much going on with the pages. I didn't do a lot of embellishing on those. You certainly could add things if you wanted to. Just some vintage eyelet here on the edge of that page. And again, lots of prints of wallpapers that are the right colors. There's several pockets throughout the book here, and also belly bands. These are photos that I took and printed out. And all of the tags are going to be similar to this, with just kind of plain tea-dyed print on the back. This collage you're going to see several times. That is a digital file I purchased from Love Junk Journals. I just thought the colors were perfect for this book. Here's the other half of that little bag, and here I split it so it actually made it into 2 pages. Put some rickrack here at the bottom and then paper ruffle here at the top. On this page I've made a little flip up. This is a print on vellum, and that flips all the way up so you could write underneath here if you wanted to. And I always think that people's writing looks really cool through vellum that has an image on it. So there's a few of those in here. This is an old vintage or antique piece of a tape measure. And here I've punched some leaf punch holes in this page. And then I just took the punch outs and glued them on. Here's a belly band. This is one of my photos again. Some mushrooms. And then inside these belly bands, I took the green painter's masking paper, and I just printed this really beautiful, I have a couple different ones of these really pretty sketches of leaves. And again, I thought that would make a nice little journaling spot. I was conscious when I started filling all these pockets and things of I didn't want things to get too thick. So that's why I chose that simple thin paper for that. If you purchase this book, just remember, you can take out what's in there. If you don't like what's in the pockets, you can put your own things in there. Okay, here I'm going to go ahead and take this clip off. I made a little page hanger here, and I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, we used to go out and gather fall leaves, and then we'd iron them between wax paper. That was like the craft that everybody did, and so that's what inspired this. I made a little pocket out of waxed paper, and the pocket has an artificial leaf sandwiched inside there, so that's totally enclosed. I would have used a real leaf, but it's a little bit early for me to find any pretty ones, so this is just an artificial one, but I thought it looked pretty in there. And then this is just another little journaling spot that I tucked into that pocket. And then on the other side, just some plain sort of grid paper. I added this little image of a squirrel and a little bit of fabric at the bottom. So you can open this up and write on the inside too. This is very versatile and gives you a lot of space to do a lot of writing here in a minimal amount of page space. Okay. And the wax paper, you know, it's bendy. I don't think it will tear, but you know, it's wax paper, so we'll see how it lasts. Okay. All right. These, you'll see these throughout the book too, these prints of eco-dyed. Of course, I didn't do those. I wish I could do eco-dyeing, but I just don't have the time to learn it and do it. But I just added a little tab there with a pretty brass charm of an oak leaf. This is another belly band, again, one of my photos, and this is again tucked in here, just another one of those prints on the green painter's paper. I'm not going to take that one out and show you because it's very similar. I can't get it to go back in there straight. What the? There. Okay. All right. This is from an art book or a sketchbook that I just recently purchased with trees in it. It's a little flip out. Here I made a little tab with some vintage bark cloth and added a little safety pin with a button. And let's see. Just lots of pretty papers. There's another one of my photos and another tag. Same thing. It's got the same sort of tea-dyed pattern on the back. And pretty, again, marbled papers there. Love those. It's a little bit of trim stapled on there as a tab. That's not old. On this page I punched the edge to give it a little bit of a pretty edging. And some more paper ruffle here at the top. I did quite a bit of that in this book. I like the way that it looks. And again, it looks really cool like from the top because you can see the zigzagginess of it. Same thing here again with the tag. Here's another one of those vellum flip-ups. Underneath there is some tea-dyed legal paper to write on. This is an envelope that I made from an old architectural drawing book, and just tucked that into the middle of the signature, made a little cluster as a tab there, and then there's just another journaling spot in there. I'm not at a good angle to tuck things back in from the top because I'm trying to keep my head out of the shot. You guys don't need to see that. All right. A Sudoku book that I copy dyed. I like the numbers and the squares. I like the geometry of it. This one is another photo. I made it into a top tuck. And I just have, you know, similar thing here again. Kept it very simple, as I said. I was going to maybe stamp on those or do something, and I thought, you know, that's something you guys can do if you purchase the book. You can make it your own by doing some of those things. Okay. A little lace at the bottom of that one. An old math book. And here I've done the same thing with the leaf punch. Another same thing here with this picture of the fall leaves and one of the tags again. The tags I just put simple, you know, the sticker paper reinforcer and some hemp string in there. You could put ribbon and have stuff sticking out the top of the book more if you wanted to. On this one I folded it over both sides so there's a pocket on each side of the page. This is some really beautiful old German antique book page here. I love the texture of it. And here's another one of those pockets made with the wax paper. On this one there's a little picture of a chipmunk at the on the back. Another belly band here. Some trim along there. That is also a new trim, not old. Another one of those bags. Let's see how lovely and crinkly that is. And I tested, I can write on it with a, I didn't test a bunch of different things. I'm sure you could write on it with a pencil, and I could write on it with a permanent marker like a Pigma micron or you know, something similar to that. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. This is from an old vintage, like from the 50s, like an appointment book. It doesn't have the year on it, which is kind of a bummer, but I still think it's cool. Another little, really funky little fungus there that I saw in the woods. Just a little bit of sort of burlappy fabric there, and then a little bit of rickrack pinned on there. Here's another vellum flip up. And a flip out here. And this one I also just punched the edge of the paper with that pretty punch. This is a pocket. I used some old headbands from other books here as a tab. And there's just another journaling spot in here. Love that pretty wallpaper print. Isn't that lovely? Little bug inside the flower there. Okay. And another pop-up here with another pheasant. And that's the end. The back, again, I kept as it was. Added my label and my signature. So that's my little book. I hope you liked seeing that. And I'm putting it in my Etsy shop, so take a look. And thanks for joining me, and I'll be back with you again soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.